Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of Foreclosurepedia Podcast. Foreclosurepedia Podcast, presentation of the Foreclosurepedia Radio Network, which premieres each Sunday evening at 2300 hours. What you're looking at right now is the front page of Foreclosurepedia.org, HUD 3.0. Hundreds of thousands of dollars owed to contractors. You know, I just did an interview with a gentleman who had just really been taken to the cleaner. This guy's name is Bruce Davenport. Really great guy. He's from New Zealand, Australia area, and he'd immigrated to the United States a while back. Had gotten into the property preservation business, and excuse me, couple of outfits, couple of nationals had hired some order mills, and during the course of hiring these order mills, they hired a guy by the name of Scott Allen Rains, and there's a picture of him right here. This is one of the things that I just never really understood. The nationals ask us to do a background check, and some of them actually charge us money. Well, here you have a situation where the guy was arrested, dealing basically, with theft during the implementation of the Hurricane Katrina. FEMA had come in and wanted to put temporary housing up, and he was involved with that theft during those times. And here's a guy. It's not just theft. What we're talking about here is victimization. And a simple Google search would have turned up this order mill obviously was not somebody kosher to hire. However, as we continue to read along here, CooperCitiWest and DMC Mortgage had absolutely no problems hiring him. As late as the 10th of February in 2012, he is rearrested for a violation of probation. National still had no problem working him. When I say nationals, I'm talking about CooperCitiWest here, and I'm talking about DMC Mortgage. They have no problems hiring him. But the people who do have a problem is, for example, Mr. Davenport, Bruce Davenport here. He has sent multiple emails to these people attempting to collect his money, and they have basically turned both a deaf ear and a blind eye. So tonight what we're going to talk about is a little bit about this. Now you'll see right over here that Cityside is named. And the reason that they're named is because when Mr. Davenport reached out to them, they knew to do the just and honorable thing. The just and honorable thing is to pay your bills. Pay your bills. What CooperCitiWest and DMC Mortgage plans on doing in the future, I don't know. They refused to communicate with Mr. Davenport. I have copies of those emails that I'm going to release in an upcoming episode, and another post that I'm going to put up on the site. But in the meantime, we're talking $5,000 just with Mr. Davenport alone. $5,000. Just turn a blind ear. It's not right. So in response to that, what I did was I created a wiki, just like ours. And when you come over here, you can see, now we're not logged in right now, but you can see right there, I can pull up a case number. The public is going to be able to see the addresses and the cities and states. And why am I doing that? Because I think prospective home buyers should have the right to know that the property that they are purchasing, that the United States government's contractors have refused to pay the proper parties the monies that are owed on those properties. I think it's imperative we actually get this information out there. At the end of the day, what can be done? Well, if we go over here and look at a couple of these orders, and I'm just initially populating these right now, you can see right there, that's a HUD order. That's a HUD order. So what can be done? Well, Mr. Davenport's going to attach those performance bonds. And let me tell you what's going to happen after that. When he attaches those performance bonds, because make no mistake, these nationals have a little bit of money. But the ones that are playing the game with HUD, they have a money man that comes forward. And that money man posts that performance bond in escrow. And that money man doesn't want that performance bond tapped. Why? Because it's going to roll it another year. That's why. What generally happens is they will pay monies out. I don't know what the percentage is. It's always a little bit different. But they pay the money out, and they literally rent that bond. None of these companies, CooperCitiWest doesn't have $10 million. They can pony up cash, sit there for a year. Doesn't work that way. So when Mr. Davenport makes those $5,000 worth of claims, and probably by the end of next week, you're going to see a good chunk of the United States of America covered with these little pinpoints here. Probably what's going to happen is Craig Carnes over at HUD is finally going to have to get in the game. You know, he's going to have to get off the bench. He's going to have to start becoming real. He's going to have to reach out to the contractors and say, hey, you know what? On the one hand, I do represent the United States government. This was a United States government contract that you're not being paid on. And on the other hand, you know what? You people are United States citizens. See, that's the deal. Everybody walks around with this belief that we're all being done a favor by being given work. We're not being done a favor. This is business. This isn't personal. This is business. So like I say, by the end of the week, you're going to see hundreds, probably approaching, maybe 4,000 by the end of next week, all through here. Once again, when homeowners go, they say, hey, I'm going to buy a house. They're going to look here and they're going to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to buy that house. You know why? Because somebody is claiming that they're owed money on it. Now, can you not issue a lien on it? You know, jury's out on that. Half the lawyers will tell you yes, half the lawyers will tell you no. That's not the point. It is your legal right. It is your legal right to scream at the top of your lungs and state publicly that monies are owed when these nationals refuse to pay you money that you're owed. Now what happens then? Well, HUD can't sell the houses. When HUD can't sell the houses, then the government's going to step in and they're going to start reaming people. So, now, for those nationals out there whom are going to say, oh, but you're releasing too much information, let's pull up this file. You can see the security parameters that are in there. You can't get access to that file, so it's a moot issue. At the end of the day, I really don't care what the nationals say. I don't. Now, I have some contracts that I work that are pre-conveyance. You know, I have a good rapport with those people. But when companies are refusing, it would be totally different. For example, Mr. Davenport, in this article here, had reached out and CooperCitiWest had said, hey, you know what? We're going to look into this. But a guy by the name of Edmund over there at Cooper City said, that's really tragic. Well, Edmund's going to find out what tragic is. Because at some point in time, right now, well, they lost the contract anyway, so it's all immaterial. Make no mistake, these are the same people who were tied in with PPMS South. You remember our good buddies Brandon Lambert and Jason Mathis? Yeah, Brandon used to talk about Cooper City all the time. That's why they spun up that separate outfit called RM, Romeo Mike. We're going to do a big article on that. And what's going to happen at the end of the day, Cooper City and DMC, they're going to keep their little money for a little bit. But the question that posits is this: how much money is it going to cost them in the end? At what price does a company sacrifice integrity for a couple of dollars, because the negative PR that is involved in this type of garbage, and that's what it is. This is garbage. When you're hiring people like this guy right here who has a felony record, had already defrauded the United States government, and you think that he's going to go ahead and pay contractors out there? No. The blame lays squarely at the feet of the nationals on this. Make no mistake, people. Make no mistake whatsoever. No matter what direction they want to go, no matter what kind of spin they want to attempt to put on this, the blame lays squarely at their feet. Legally, they should have run a background check, and they freely, willingly, and with overt intention chose not to. So we're going to stay on top of this for you. Like I say, go ahead and take a look over here. You know, this is foreclosurepedia.org/REO. If you have friends, neighbors, colleagues that are probably going to be buying homes soon, you want to make sure they look at this map too. Because really, who wants to be saddled with a home that's going to have debt that's attached to it? Regardless of whether or not a lawsuit prevails, the homeowner is going to have to retain counsel to defend themselves. And make no mistake, some of these cases, and I do anticipate the debt in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of these cases can drag on for years. You go try to pull a note and your bank starts seeing things going south, let me tell you what, you're not going to have that house long. This has been another edition of Foreclosurepedia Podcast. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in this evening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, give me a shout out. COO@foreclosurepedia.org.